For the second year in a row, markets are going to pay attention to a report they used to ignore, the benchmark revision to the annual payroll numbers. Senior economics reporter Steve Leisman joins us to explain why this is a potentially big deal. Is it time for that again so soon? When was that? Was that the 900,000 from last year?
It was 800,000 reduced to 500,000. And Joe, what the reason is because of the focus of the health, on the health of the labor market. We get another important data point today, one that Fed officials have said they're focused on. Used to pay little attention to it. It's the release of this preliminary benchmark revisions to payrolls, and it's expected to be another big one. The benchmark revision uses new and more accurate state data to adjust the annual payroll numbers, and this is from April 24 to March 2025. So the data's kind of old, but, you know, the best we have. Estimates range from taking off 400,000 to 900,000 that would reduce monthly job growth from what was 147,000 a month to 60 to 113,000 a month. Revisions, of course, are often revised between now and February because this data is preliminary. We don't get the finals until February, and it's often revised to show fewer jobs lost than initially reported. It'll be watched for what it says about the real economy and real growth, but also a political dimension with President Trump having accused the Bureau of Labor Statistics of rigging the data to hurt him. His aides say mostly it's about the big revisions show a need for reform at the BLS. Well, here are the numbers. Two of the biggest revisions of the past 25 years have come in 2022 when 506,000 jobs were added, 24, nearly 600,000 jobs were subtracted. You can see the biggest one was at a time of transition, 2009. Overall revisions tend to amount to just 0.2% of total payrolls, or about 300,000 jobs plus or minus. But the big story is what the 5-month-old data will say about the economy now. Fed Governor Waller recently estimated revisions could subtract 720,000 jobs and said it supports the Fed rate cuts because it shows the job market is weaker than it appears. Unfortunately, we won't know until February which months get revised. So if the weaker numbers are old, in other words, the beginning of the period, or more recent. Perhaps now there's so much concern with the accuracy of the jobs data, there will be more support for funding the collection of the data instead of nominal and real budget cuts that have plagued the statistical agencies for years. Joe, thank you for that opportunity to do a public service announcement.
Maybe we can use AI. I don't know. How can we make it better?
I've always wondered why we can't have more accurate and timely collection of data from the states. If the states are the place we go to true up the monthly data, why can't we have more accurate data collection from the states? And I think that has to do probably with new computers, new collections. That has always struck me. The other problem, Joe, is that to the extent that it's an estimate, we're always going to have problems with our models. This birth-death model that estimates the number of business creations and destruction, it's always a source of the revisions, and I don't know that they can do better than they've done. You could step back and say, if the average error on like 130 or 150 million jobs is 0.2%, maybe they're not doing that bad a job.